I bought this new tool post. It's my first ever quick change tool post, and it's probably a knockoff of an English made Dixon tool post, probably from China or maybe India, as I don't believe the original Dixon tool post is being made anymore. It might be a little small for my lathe. The compound slide is a little bit bigger than this block here, and the parting blade holder could not reach up to center height, so I have converted it to a small boring bar holder in my previous video. And I guess now it's time to use this a little bit, see if I like this tool post, this quick change tool post business that is being used by most people on the internet, except maybe Rob from the XY Noodoo channel. I've installed a couple of tool bits into the holders that came with the tool post. Here is the modified parting blade holder, and as you can see, it now holds a small boring bar. This here is a tiny parting blade sitting in a regular holder, and I'm hoping it will reach up to center height. And to improve my odds, I've installed a couple of shims. Actually, it's only one shim. It made me feel a bit nostalgic for the 4-way tool post holder. This here is a grooving tool. I probably, or I hopefully won't use it, but in case this parting blade fails, I'm gonna try this one here. And last but not least, a regular right hand tool bit, probably used for most of the machining work. Anyway, I'm going to make a washer, a rather thick washer. I guess it's more like a little riser. It's a perfect little amateur machining job for any given Sunday, and probably a lot better than watching football. This is a piece of 16mm stock material that I softened up in my kiln last week. As you can see, the file had no problem removing a bit of material. It now also has a rather nice and cool looking black color. Let's start cleaning up the angle grinder cut off at the end here. I'm going to lock the saddle in place for this, otherwise it might move. Looks like the tool is a little bit too low. That should be easy enough to fix. That might do it. I'm actually running the lathe at 1600 RPM. I normally never do that. It's pretty rough. I'm gonna get some oil. Well, not great, but acceptable. The material feels difficult to machine. Now let's turn down this to a little bit less than 7mm. That should probably do it. Maybe make it a centimeter long, create a bit of a tenon. That might still be harder than I thought it would be. Although for my lathe that was probably a significant cut. Is this thing fixed in place? That could definitely be a little tighter. Huh. 6.7mm. Perfect, just what I wanted. Alright. Next step, turning this down to 21.5mm or something very close. That's not going to work, you dumbo. That's only a 16mm stock material. I guess I'm going to start over. I found some ammonium scraptonium. At least now we know this is soft. And the good thing is, or the cool thing, the outside diameter is only 1/10 of a millimeter thicker than I was planning. So I guess I can basically continue where I had to start over. How about that? Sometimes you do get lucky. Next I'm going to polish this up a bit with some emery cloth, and then I will part this off somewhere. That's shiny enough. It really doesn't matter that much. My shiny new tool post, all dirty. It is annoying. I found out that you really need to press this in place, otherwise sometimes the dovetails, well, it's no dovetail, but those angles don't line up perfectly. I just set the center height using the front of this workpiece. Should be close enough. I need this washer to be a little bit more than 9mm thick, so this is 10. That should do it. As usual with my machining, precision is optional, not that important. Setting the lathe to the slowest speed, and that's 115 RPM. Now my lathe hasn't been a miracle when it comes to parting off, and this has quite a bit more stick out than a short parting blade, but here goes nothing. noises coming from the headstock. Whoa! Did you see that? That sucked. Something came loose here. Well, it really is a flimsy parting blade. I guess I'm going to try that grooving tool now. This locking clamp here that clamps the blade in place. This piece here, the lip, it totally bent over. I think this is high-speed steel. Not sure. And it probably isn't long enough to cut all the way through the material, but we will see. If it doesn't work, I'll come up with something else. It should get close. It needs to be a little bit lower. Maybe a little bit higher. That will have to do. This tool is a little bit wider. Not sure if it's a good idea to try and cut to the same groove, but well, it won't kill me. I think I will like a longer wrench than this tiny thing to tighten things up properly. Here we go again. Loop. Well, that sucked. Looks like this side of the holder came up significantly, while this side has moved down. And as you can see, there's quite a bit of space here now. And I definitely tightened up this bolt here properly. I used this big wrench for some leverage. So now let's install the same tool bit in the good old 4-way tool post, shim it up, and see if it will do any better than this quick change tool post thingy. A change of plans again, and I just had my first good idea in weeks. Why not drill this hole first, and then the grooving tool, acting as a parting tool, will definitely go deep enough to part this off. This is a 6mm drill. The hole actually needs to be 10mm, but I want to leave some material so I can also try out my modified parting blade that is now a boring bar. The quick change tool post is back on the lathe, and I'm now getting ready to try out this modified parting off blade that now holds a 6mm boring bar. A 6mm boring bar that does not look to fit inside a 6mm hole. Well, it shouldn't be a problem. It just needs to take a bigger cut. It might not be able to do that, but that's not going to stop me from trying. And yes, I know it has a little bit more stick out than absolutely necessary. let's just say it all is part of my testing plan. Or I might be too lazy to change these head screws. Let's see, running 970 RPM. It is flexing and flopping a bit, but it actually works better than expected. That's more than deep enough. Now I'm going to take a measurement and see how much more needs to come out. But first I need to stop because the battery is almost empty. And I'm back. I did some editing while the camera battery charged, and I will apologize for the length of this video because I'm already over the 15 minutes mark. Huh. Nine and a half millimeters. So only a half a millimeter left. That has to come out. A bit more than 10 millimeter. That's gonna be fine. So now I'm going to find out if this pointy tool bit is any good at doing a bit of chamfering. I think it should work for very tiny chamfers, but the underside of the tool bit will quickly run into the workpiece. That's enough. That actually worked better than I thought it would. If I grind a little bit off here, maybe make it a bit round, it should work even better. Let's remove this and bring back the 4-way tool post and try a little bit of parting off again. I'm kind of missing this well, register part that sits into the compound slide and keeps it in place. Alright, let's shim up a tool bit. I believe I set the parting blade slightly higher than center height, just a hair higher, and I'm hoping it won't dig in this time. If everything goes as planned, the drill bit will catch the washer. And there it is. Success! Victory is mine! I'm awesome. I'm a machining god. And there it is. I guess that's a win for the good old 4-way tool post. Damn, that landed in the chip pan. I have the washer back in the 3-jaw chuck, and I'm using a bit of used emery cloth to protect from the bite of the jaws. And now I'm going to do a facing cut, and after that chamfer things a bit. Well, that pretty much concludes my first adventure using a quick change tool post. This tool turned out to be better than expected, and this lever here needs to be a bit longer. I guess it wasn't the success I was hoping for, but maybe in time it'll get better. But I will definitely keep that old 4-way tool post around for parting off stuff. This washer, by the way, is actually for the quick change tool post. It should go underneath this nut. Without this fat washer, it's hard to turn this spanner. Besides, the washer will also act as a stop for these cams here. Without the washer, they can be over rotated, and then the holder might drop past the height adjustment stop here. And now I have to come clean about this washer I made. It's about 1/2 millimeter thinner than I had planned. It should be on the same height as this cam here. And the hole for the bolt is actually 1/2 millimeter bigger than I would have liked. So I guess I'm no machining god. Or maybe I just got a bit nervous with the camera and the lights in the way. So without all those disturbances, I'm going to try again. Sunday is not over yet. I guess that's it. Till the next time. And who knows, I might actually do something useful then.